Hi guys, my name is Amy. I'm part of the Midwest team here at Redox Bionutrients, and I am here with Brian Mattix, Director of Product Trials at Total Acre, and we're in Ontario, Ohio. Not Canada, but the USA, and we're talking about the relationship. We're actually going into our third year of trials with Total Acre. We want to dive into the value that we see as working with the partner you guys going into our third year, but first I wanted to start with just your approach as just your own background, like farming background and engineering background in the automobile business. We got all these license plates behind us, so I think that really shines through to the way that you approach trials. And can you explain a little bit more about like your systematic approach to handling trials with partners like Redox?
Sure. First thing is, thanks for having me on. I really, Total Acre, we really value Redox as a partner. And my background is I did grow up in a farming operation and row crop farming, and then I spent 32 years in the automotive industry. And a lot of things that I learned in the automotive industry is we did a lot of continuous improvement and trying to prove systems with data, and a lot of that, what that came down to is trying to have good processes and then having those standardized, and also just education to make sure that everybody does things the same way. And then the thing we'd always do too is on certain operations we would want to measure on where the problems were, and we would identify those problems from the having confidence in that data. Where do we go from that? And then there were one thing we do, things that were successful, how do we horizontally apply that to continue to drive more success, but also identify the problems that are creating lots of issues and implement corrective actions from good root cause analysis practices to fix those things. And a lot of things that I noticed once I had this opportunity to get to Total Acre is a lot of farmers have all this data from all this technology, and you got the AI and all these things coming, and then you have all these different products, and I think that it's just so overwhelming on where do you go, and
how do you make a decision? You got all these products, right? The farm economy is not doing well right now. You have to make smarter decisions.
Yes.
That dollar has to get stretched out even more.
Exactly.
And like you said, on a supplier side, right? We want to make sure that we back up our claims, right? We want to tell the truth and make sure the product works where it works. So you said the confidence in data. Sometimes we get data back from folks that have tried the product, and we're not quite sure how the trial went. And the fact that you guys are so transparent about the protocols and the process, right? And standardization, which is huge.
Yeah.
You know, we get those 10-page reports back by each farm. It's like we can get so deep, which is cool. We can understand how we won. Maybe if there was a miss, we can figure that out, right? And then we rinse and repeat and go into the next year.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that's where we try to put in good standard, what we used to call them standard operation procedures, and that is where we take the information from the customer, and we look at on-farm research as the next layer of research after you do something in the lab, and then you move it to the greenhouse, and then you see something on a greenhouse, and then you go to the small university plots, and then we're the next layer.
The field scale analytics, right? You can have confidence in that data.
But unfortunately, in the field scale analytics, you have lots of variability.
It's real world, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It rained too much.
Yeah.
It didn't rain at all.
It didn't rain
Central
at all.
Ohio didn't rain for 8 weeks.
Yeah, and it's and so that's where we have a lot of statistical tools to be able to extract those what we call erroneous data points, which I always say, if you got 700-800 bushel data point on corn, unless you're David Hula, that probably doesn't exist. But then on the other side of the bell curve is how do you clip off those bell curves and just try to have that right data set to give each product a fair light. Is what we're trying to do.
And you've got these group of farmers, your network, right? We would say we've been working with you guys for a couple of years. The network's everything, right? I mean, the relationships that you guys have with your members and that we build with you guys and with your members is huge. I mean, year over year, we learn together. So tell us more about what's the expectation around being a Total Acre member, or how do you get involved?
How you get involved? It is It is simply I believe you just go to Total Acre website, totalacre.com, and you could just go on the interest list, and you could sign up to be a part of our organization. And I always, selfishly on my end, I'm always trying to look for more trial cooperators. This year, this year we placed about 420 trials with 140 trial cooperators, and I'm always looking to try to expand that pool, and that's where the things that I'm trying to look for. I want to work with companies like Redox, are the best in the business, and it's not we're trying to trial out snake oil. We're not in that. We want results, and we want to try to dial in based upon your feedback, executing the 4 R's approaches. When do you apply the right amount, the right timing, right location, right application method, etc., to maximize yield performance and ROI, make sure the product does its job. And
you guys have definitely helped us out year over year, right? I mean, like you said, we go from like lab to greenhouse to small plot, but really it's the power of your peers, right? Doing these field scale trials, right? And that's how we learn together going into our 3rd year.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, Amy, is I always, not the ones 100% of the time. And I
you would challenge me if I made that claim.
Oh yeah, I'd want to invest in your company if you make that claim. And the big thing is that we want to do out of the trials is how do we accelerate the learning curve? Because
100%.
Unfortunately, in farming, unless you go back and forth between Brazil, for example, and the United States, you get one time a year. And therefore, average farmer gets about 40 times in their life to.
It's crazy to think about that it's only 40 times like the most.
And therefore, trying to accelerate that learning curve, I think that's where something at Total Acre you can be able to do that, because not only you get the access to Randy Dowdy and David Hula, and but also just our software program, which we use for our statistical analysis for our product trials. We're trying to prove out the best products in the business, and I look at that collaboration is like, for example, we did some experimental trials with you this year, RDXP. And
I was going to ask you, what are you excited about coming out of this season going into next year with the trials that we've done?
Well, a few different things is the RDXP, just to build off of that, is
which is pre-commercial, starter replacement. We're getting there.
But the thing we notice is that you have, like on East Coast, Amy, where you have farmers have had access to poultry litter for decades, and their p-values are very high. But they due to environmental restrictions, they can no longer maybe not be able to use phosphate. That's like in the Chesapeake Bay region. That's one.
They get the handcuffs already getting on them, and they need tools.
But also there's others that have really high p-values, and they can't get out of soil. And so that's where we kick the tires a little bit on RDXP to do some trials where we were just using RDXP and no phosphate source, and we saw some interesting results. And so that is one that is very interesting. And
product of the year nomination, RDXN.
RDXN. And that's a big thing that we like to work with companies that are innovative. And I've listened to the founder of your company, Darren Moon, talk many times. I think he's very, very intriguing. I mean, me being a former engineer, I always ask, okay, you have a theory, but what's your measurements?
You ask tough questions.
And every time out of him, he doesn't give me some kind of roundabout answer. He says, well, this is what we're doing, or this is what we have in place. And that's what has been very intriguing about that. But the RDXN, I really just want, there's a lot of products out there, as you know, Amy, that will say, okay, reduce nitrogen by 25 pounds, and this is going to expect a response. However, what a lot of times farmers are already over applying anyway, and so that's where I think RDXN is. What I'm seeing initially is different. Is we have a lot of farmers already in Total Acre that already have their NUEs dialed in pretty well, and we're seeing some. We're seeing some still some nice yield uplifts. We have a one trial in Missouri that had like a 13 bushel yield uplift, and then we had another one in.
And that was a blend too. He actually reduced. It was ATS. He reduced some sulfur too.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a very nice win in Glasgow, Missouri, by Tim Brand.
So Brian, like 10,000 foot view, like why does Total Acre do product trials to begin with?
Why do we do product trials is because a lot of data that we see, I view it with my background as a fox garden hen house. And there's a lot of times too that I've seen how data is collected in the methodology. There's a lot of fragmented processes, and I just don't think it has the integrity possible to give the farmer the good analysis, make them feel good that, hey, this product could have a chance to be effective on my farm. And so that is where we like to be able to work with. We want to work with the best in the business. I mean, I'm about results, and and there's a lot of different things we do, Amy. Is we can work with companies that have products that have been out in the marketplace for several years, and we want to just prove it out to see how effective it is. But also, like you talked about the RDXP, I mean, that's that was an experimental trial, and
that's right. You guys got it before anybody else.
And we do a lot of experimental trials with other companies too. And a lot of our innovative growers, they want to be ahead of the curve.
Yes.
I mean, why wouldn't you want to try to advance your curve maybe 3, 4, 5 years by getting the opportunity to do these type of trials? And that's where we were able to do that. And plus, the other thing is how can we use all the tools that we have? And I'm very blessed to have a really good team that is very well rounded, that we could actually do trials that I'm very confident has serious integrity in on farm setting.
Yep. And I appreciate that on our ends too, right? We're working with you guys on a trial level. We work with some excellent growers that you guys have inside your network. And for us being a family business, around for over 30 years, like we just, we wake up every day and we grind just like you guys grind, right? We're hitting the pavement just like you guys. So we just thank you for your partnership and the years of experience that you guys bring to the table, and some of the best growers out there that we can trust the data. We can trust that the trial participants are gonna stand behind the trial protocols, and we're excited to have RDXN nominated as the Farm Journal Product of the Year, and I don't think we would be at this spot if it wasn't for the relationship that we had with Total Acre, with you, with your whole team, with the Total Acre trial members. So
that's congratulations. I mean, that's
we got to go vote.
Well, but that is so neat. I mean, because we're just so big on innovation, and just like we talked about before, is when you got very, very tight margins and things like that, is you can't do things where you try to reduce costs and you pinch pennies, lose dollars, because you can really go backwards. But some of the concepts that Redox has, it could give you an opportunity. Hey, you could do some cost down activities and still not impact your yield performance, and possibly some cases I'm seeing from my data actually can improve it and improve ROI per acre. And I think that's very, very important, especially during these lean times. But me being having an engineering background, especially in lean manufacturing, it's like, why wouldn't you do this all the time? I mean, because I'd want to maximize profit every single acre I own, good times or bad.
Yep. So we have data coming in now. We're going to have all the full data, probably by Commodity Classic too. I know we're going to be together at Commodity Classic. But I guess for those watching, how if they wanted to learn more about Total Acre and learning about the trials, learning about the product information, or becoming a member, they go on to
go to totalacre.com, and they just sign up for the interest list. And if you're interested in doing trials, if you have the skill set, you have the technology, we work with some first year growers.
Nice.
If there's some that hit the ground running and do a great job, I mean, some of the lead individuals, but others, if you're willing to learn and pay attention to details, we'll teach you.
Awesome. And don't forget to vote. Redox RDXN is Product of the Year. It's an 83% win rate that's coming in right now. So if you want to learn more, go on redoxstros.com. We'll reach out to you and share some more trial data.
All right. Thanks, Amy.